What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals. Hey, happy May 4th. We're filming this Sunday, May 4th, before it drops the next day.
Heck
May the 4th
yeah.
be with you. In the last 4 days, I've rewatched Empire. I just rewatched A New Hope, the original non-special edition version on VHS. Busted out the old player. Got that
Busted.
bad boy moving. The quality, horrific. But the
But that's how it
content,
should be.
incredible.
It's supposed to look, or that quality's supposed to look bad. It makes it even more special. That's how it was
Vintage.
originally made.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
There was no crazy aliens. There were some scenes left out. Hooked that bad boy up. Been watching Andor, not fully caught up. Only seen one of the newest 3 episodes. Is sad to report that.
I'm ahead
but
of you.
we all don't have as much free time as you over there, pal.
I was shocked. I was catching up. I was booking it yesterday.
Been busy. It's still good?
It's still good.
We watched the first episode. That first episode was great. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Movie patrons, Kimberly, Karen. I think this is mostly going to end up just being about Thunderbolts. So we'll just kind of see if we get to all the other things on the old sketch. Kyle goes, I think I'm not going to see a Marvel movie opening weekend. I really don't have passion.
Hold on. That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
You said you weren't going to see it.
Not on opening night, but I was just shocked. I'll tell you this. I was shocked that this is going to be like the first time not going on opening night. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just happened for my schedule. But
really?
It was just, my schedule didn't work out where I could see it opening night. But it just surprised me because I've seen almost every Marvel movie on opening night. So it just dawned on me in all the years that we've done this and how many movies they've released. I was like, I've done this a lot.
I don't think
I've gone to hindsight.
I don't think I've gone to a Marvel movie on opening night in 5 years.
Really?
Spider-Man No Way Home is probably the last one I went to opening night. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why that makes more sense. Both saw Thunderbolts. Let's get into that. Let's kind of do a non-spoiler review, and then let's get into it, because for the first time ever, I want to theorize. I got rants about the people on the interwebs.
Ooh, okay.
So, Kyle, go ahead and tell me your thoughts, because you already know mine, and I don't know yours. Kyle went to the movie, came home here. Yeah. So, Kyle, what did you hate it?
I did not hate it. I really enjoyed it. I had a really great time with this. It is pretty darn good. We're all the way back. I don't know if I would go that far, but it is a very good movie. I was very impressed by what I just came out and saw, because the movie obviously is dealing with lesser known characters from some of the TV shows or some of the other movies that have just been collected and combined into one group, being the Thunderbolts. And it's similar to, some people probably know this, it's similar to that of like Suicide Squad, where it's just a bunch of rogue agents or a bunch of villain characters come together. A bunch of misfits. And we've seen with one Suicide Squad movie that doesn't stick the landing. With another Suicide Squad movie, it can stick the landing. And Thunderbolts, as we said, we really liked it, and it sticks the landing. I think it does a really great job in this movie of... it doesn't go all the way, I would say, with giving the characters like recap on like their backgrounds, but it gives enough details, maybe some from past movies, maybe some from like stuff that we haven't seen, but just enough detail to where you understand where they're coming from and you understand their flaws and why they're rough around the edges. But I think between the chemistry of the cast and between the script and the direction, going the extra mile in highlighting the roughness that these characters have, like you get to feel for them and you get to enjoy seeing them become underdogs of their own stories, of their own making. And Florence Pugh, great in the role, great like leading the movie. She and David Harbour are back together as a team. They have great chemistry with one another. But it was the rest of the cast I was really impressed with, especially from Lewis Pullman, that this is his first time being in the MCU. And as the character, I won't give too much away, again, non-spoilers, but he impressed me the most. This was like the first meaty role that I've seen out of Lewis Pullman. Outside of like Top Gun briefly, I just haven't seen him much else.
Love playing Bob.
He loves playing Bob, but he does his dad proud, I think, in this movie. I was very impressed by his acting and what his involvement in the story is, and his involvement in the story is also the same involvement for all the other characters with like the themes of the movie of harkening on mental illness or on loneliness, of feeling like you're abandoned or just feeling like lost in your own life and your own story. And again, just the movie goes not into like completely dark or completely adult territories, but it does go the extra mile in terms of what its usual demographics of these types of movies are, in that it kind of will become a gut punch in some cases for the audiences to be surprised by how far they go. And I thought how far they go was handled very well. It doesn't feel like it's being too, I don't know, melodramatic or feeling too cheesy, but it hits you in the motions in the right way. And I think it does come from a very vulnerable and real place that will, I think, surprise audiences as well. And it kind of makes sense because I believe this director was the director and or showrunner of Beef, which is on Netflix. Very terrific show, in my opinion.
Beef, Paper Towns.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. No, I'm just kidding. And Robot and Frank.
I don't know that one.
I just pulled him up. Oh, and he did some Skeleton. He did an episode of Skeleton Crew. Liked Skeleton Crew quite a bit.
Okay.
Did some episodes on Dave.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, just in terms of some of his background that I've seen from like Dave or Beef, it fit really well for him doing this story. And I thought for him handling a blockbuster to this size was very impressive on his part. And not only that, but just not just story-wise, but just of the special effects aspects of it, of feeling like they use like practical devices, practical stunts, practical effects very well, in my opinion. And just with the cinematography wise, I'm not going to say it was great, but I do think it matches with the tone of the movie very well in terms of like color palette and just the way that it's shot, to where I thought it was just a nice cherry on top, and I became very impressed by it.
I thought the cinematography was excellent, especially when it came to The Void. I thought it was excellent. Some of the best Marvels looked in a while.
You want to keep going then with your thoughts? Because otherwise I was just going to jump into some negatives, but you can
go
take
ahead. Do your negatives. Let me roast you. Come on.
Yeah, I thought Winter Soldier's involvement was a bit weak. Good. But I wonder if that's just because we know of his arc enough to where we can include him in the way that the movie winds up including him. But just for that character and for him seeming like he's taking charge of things, I kind of would have liked to see a bit more of his involvement with the crew. So that's just one thing that comes to mind. Pacing wise wasn't bad. I could see it being a bit slower for some audiences' taste, but I actually didn't mind it because I thought that it was having a great build, a great crescendo throughout. I
don't think the pacing's an issue. I don't think general audiences will feel that either. I think it's pretty fast. It's only like a 2-hour movie, isn't it?
That did surprise me. I did see the runtime, and that felt refreshing. It doesn't feel bloated. It doesn't feel like it overstays its welcome. That's for sure.
It's only 2:06 here. Yeah, no, I think it's paced very well myself. But
okay, go ahead. But anyway, just a little bits that come to mind off the top of my head for negatives. Like I said, I was very impressed by what this movie was doing and what it achieved. Very fun time to watch.
I loved the movie. It is the best thing I think they've done since Infinity War. I texted Kyle pretty quickly after getting out and was like, or Endgame. Endgame.
Still, that's surprising.
I was like, for the first time in 5 years, I want to like theorize. I want to guess. I'm thinking about the future.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
Make more sense. Everything worked, and we'll get into some spoilers. But I think the movie works on all fronts. I think the humor's fantastic. It feels very old Marvel. Red Guardian is great. His humor delivers hard. I think obviously Florence Pugh and everybody does a fantastic job. And this feels older school Marvel, a director who hasn't done much, a TV director, a music video director, documentary guy, coming in, getting kind of a first big blockbuster budget movie. Don't know much about him. That's old school. Sean or James Gunn was not a big name director until Marvel, things like that, Russo's. I thought the movie.
It feels like it wasn't messed with. It feels like, there's minus one or two aspects of the movie where it's like, you got to have this, include that. But otherwise, it really just felt like its own thing.
This is, from reports, this is the movie that is the first of this, like, we get the problems. Like, Kevin Feige's come out and talked about, like, hey, we know we're course correcting. We get that we had misses. And he had all the reports of him being spread too thin, too many shows, too much quantity over quality, and they've publicly said we want more quality Marvel stuff again. And Kevin Feige's being reined back. He's not all over the place, and this is supposedly the first project when this started happening. The Thunderbolts was going to be the first movie where Kevin Feige's been reined back in. We're not focusing on 800 shows. We're just getting a few more things out of production. We're fixing our course correction here. I read today from some posts from the Discussion Film was posting about how people were running up to Kevin Feige in hallways and trying to track him down during that time. And it's like, and these are years ago that these things happen, because movies, we're always, when the movie comes out and you talk about it, everything that happened beforehand always was 3 years before. But
yeah, those decisions were made back then.
And to be honest, I think Bucky is the only big hit of that. I think the idea and why Bucky is doing what he's doing in this is from other movies that, the Captain America Brave New World, which needed extensive reshoots over and over. And Bucky, and even in that movie, is kind of shoehorned in. And I think they had different plans, and they had to craft this movie around those different plans by the time they got to Thunderbolts, when this was the first one they were reining in. I think that does suffer for Bucky specifically. I think of anybody, that is who gets hit, is Bucky. Yeah. I also think, well, anyway, we'll get into that in spoilers, but
sure.
Overall, I loved the movie. I loved what it talks about. I love that it focuses on Yelena and it focuses on Sentry. I think that is excellent. I think the aesthetic is really cool. I think the Void is really cool. Just the way
Very
it
good
looks,
action.
the shots. Yeah. There are some shots in here that I was like, Marvel, you did this? Are you kidding me?
No, what? Yeah,
this is awesome. This looks incredible.
I had that too.
My only one true complaint is there is one fight towards the end. It's kind of the beginning of the ending that I do think that fight looks a little video gamey, and that's the only time I thought that in the entire movie.
Yeah, there's a few moments there too.
But it's I think that's the only one. It's that fight alone, and then it gets better, and they continue to fight. It gets better, but that one fight looked a little video game, looked a little like
too fluid, too motion capture. Yeah.
To be honest, it looked like The Boys. And when I'm watching The Boys, that works because I'm watching TV, whether they had $100 million per episode. Like that's not going in everything. So I thought it looked a little bit more like something I expect from more of a superhero show than Marvel or bad Marvel. But I thought it just looked a little video gamey. But granted, this Sentry is also a character we kind of haven't seen fully, I guess. I guess we have. No, I take that back. But anyway, that's my only true big negative about the movie. But I really do want to, from this point on, spoilers ahead. Okay?
Okay.
You've been warned. If you haven't seen Thunderbolts, give this little watch later and come back. Spoilers ahead.
Here we go.
I think I've seen a lot of people talk about this Bucky thing. Not enough Bucky, not enough Bucky, not enough Bucky.
Oh.
And I think that was on purpose. And I think it's smart. We need to eventually move off of some of these guys that are still around. And it's time to focus on Florence Pugh. It's time to focus on Lewis Pullman. It's time to focus on these guys.
Yeah. Ghost. Ghost.
Honestly, not even them. When we got out of the movie, Autumn made a great comparison, and she said this felt a little bit like the first Guardians in terms of story structure. And I completely agree.
Oh, yeah.
It is two main characters, and that's Yelena and Sentry. They are the main characters. Everyone else is not a main character, advertised to be or not. They're not a main character. They're going to be given little moments. Guardians originally, you get little moments here and there with Drax, Rocket, and whatnot. They get those here. That is why I think the movie worked so well. It structured itself around that narrative, and that narrative ended up being loss, and not only loss, but like just depression. Really just what do you do when you don't know what else to do? When you are stuck in a void? I mean, like, and I've seen a lot of people.
The metaphor is blatant.
I've seen a lot of people say, this is like, I think they said this is like the third Marvel movie or something out of like a certain amount or whatever, that we've seen this a lot lately of the power of friendship winning the day. And I have some strong points to that. I think one, they're superheroes, right? Friendship's important when they're superheroes, right?
To make a team.
The problem that everybody is facing right now is, I want Henry Cavill back as my Superman. I want my dark, gritty Superman. Power of friendship. And it's like, no, they're superheroes. We're trying to get back to that. But at the end of the day, it was not the power of friendship. There's a difference of how you structure a story that ends with the power of friendship and that ends like this. This was, we're alone. You're suffering more than we are. In fact, Yelena even is like, I am starting to get it. She tells him, like, I am starting to feel lighter through the conversations and powerful moments. Oh, the scene with her and Red Guardian on the street was awesome. I started getting choked up a little bit. I was like, this is great. But
I agree with you on that scene. I really liked her line read of saying, like, I look at my phone and I'm lonely. And I go to work and I'm still lonely. And I go drink and I'm lonely. And I think it's just a great example of like what you're talking about and what this movie is trying to say. And I feel like, I may have said this already in a past podcast, but I feel that from other movies. I feel the repercussions of COVID that directors, showrunners are trying to emulate on, like, what we all went through. That sucked. Not that everyone was lonely, but everyone can feel lonely. Like that even if you're with friends, even if you have your core group of people, family, like, your point is, it's relatable to be like, I still feel alone. Yeah. And you have to remember to dig 100%. Yourself out of that. And I think in the 2020s, when we look back on this decade, we're going to see a lot of movies and shows emulate that aspect of life. Like, that's going to be what runs through. 100%. That's gonna... So anyway, I like that this big budget movie is also doing that.
I love that it tackled that too. I loved that it tackled that. It was, and I think, you know, as a fan of anime, watching, like, in the scene where he's fighting the Void, he's fighting himself, he's beating on him. There's a whole arc in Naruto about this. Like, you see this in cultures in media throughout all the time, where you have to fight your inner self. That is the true demon. How do you defeat your inner self? And
even if you beat it up, it may not make you happy. It may not work.
Well, like Naruto.
Climax, I'm sorry.
No, you go. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that even if you do, like, overcome it, it can still, like, succumb you in a weird sense. Like when
100%.
When Sentry is fighting the Void and you see him, like, beating up, like, his counterpart, like his shadow self, Void self, and you're like, yeah, he's getting him. He's fighting. Oh wait, no, that's not the answer.
Yeah.
It feels good, but it's not the answer.
Exactly.
And then Yelena's able to come and hold him. Everyone else comes and holds him, and then they get out of the Void together. It's very clever. It's very clever. Like I said, I jokingly said blatant, which it probably is. It probably is to some people, which is fair.
Really,
it does hit though, and I think it will hit for audiences.
I agree with you. In the scene in Naruto where he fights his inner self, he realizes he can't beat his inner self. He never gets to a rage point. What he does is he literally does actually really do the power of friendship, and he gives his inner demon a hug and says, my guy, like, you don't need to feel this way anymore. I don't feel this way anymore. That is more in tune to a power of friendship, and it makes sense for his character. Here, it is just people who, like, how can you watch this depressed and then leave. And like, if you feel alone in the world and depressed, you watch the movie and you leave and you go to your basement and you start typing and you're all upset. Power, friendship saved it. And it's like, my guy, that's what you want. And we're right here. Come on. Let's go talk. Like, I think what this movie is doing is speaking to the new generation of fans. I think it's speaking to the old generation of fans by bringing it back to the way they crafted stories before. And I think it works. And it is a little bit of a poor marketing, I guess. I can't think of the term, but like, right? You go into the movie thinking this is going to be Suicide Squad with these Thunderbolts. It's going to be all of them. And immediately they cut Taskmaster out of it. Everybody's, and it's not everybody. And I loved that when halfway through the movie, I was like, I love that this is the movie I ended up getting, not Suicide Squad. So anyway.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I was thinking about this in terms of like some of the uglier parts of fandom that ask for their franchises to go quote unquote darker, quote unquote more adult. And between this and Andor, it just surprises me that those same groups don't see that they are getting that.
That's literally what it is. I mean? Bob's talking about how he was addicted to meth, that he is
who says meth in a Marvel movie? Like, even Iron Man 1 wasn't talking about meth. Maybe alcohol, but like not
another big issue. You brought up Andor too, and everybody's like, who says raped in Star Wars, which is now a big narrative. So
which hey, look, that shocked me as well. That was the last thing I really expected out of Star Wars for sure. But
great. It's a word. Relax.
But it's look, if you're asking for dark, serious material, you can complain if it's not handled well. That's fair. And maybe you don't think it's handled well, then that's fine. But I feel like these things are handling it very well. These two things specifically. And you're not realizing that you're getting what you're asking for. I think they're asking for like The Boys. Which, it handles like tough subjects, but it does it in a...
Yeah, but The Boys
spectacle.
It makes such light heart. It has so much humor, so much humor, and so much over the top violence, and so much sexual content
that you can almost like
numb to it.
Separate. No, yes, numbness.
Yeah,
is the right
you become
term.
Numb to it. You're like, oh, this I'm used to this violence. Then you go watch Marvel, and you're like, why isn't it violent? My God, it is violent. Bob is a meth addict. Like, he is saying that he was so depressed, he was traveling around the world, not knowing what to do with his life, looking for the next drug, when somebody came up to him and said, let's offer you a cure. And you can't even, but they came and sold him a cure. He's like, they told me I'll make you better. And then you get this, Julia Louis-Dreyfus character. Why can't I think of her? Valentine.
Yeah.
You get her and her secretary talking about how nobody was supposed to survive this. This was supposed to be test subjects, that everyone should have died in this project. So they offered him this drug to kill him. They found somebody that looked like life was dead, defeated him, and was like, he's a waste of space. Like, that is so dark. And you're telling me that you come away out of this movie and you're like, I want it darker. Like, this didn't hit for me. Are you kidding me? It's got great action sets. It's got a darker story, lighthearted message at the end to make you feel a little bit more in spirits. It's
got
great.
Some humor along the way. Humor is hit or miss, but it's fine.
I'm going to walk into the kids Monday morning and go, Thunderbolts!
I love
David
that
Harbour.
We saw Bob's meth trip while he was in the chicken costume. Since we're talking about spoilers, it was awesome.
And again,
and it's funny in a dark way, but it's funny.
That feels boys-esque, right? They're not being so over the top because it is Disney, it's Marvel. You got to rein it in a little bit. But that is what's happening. He says, "I'm high on meth right now." Like,
and it's funny.
Swinging the sign around. It is funny and it is sad, and it's like, this is what you want in the movies. You want to go to the movies. You want to feel. You want to feel different emotions. You want to laugh at somebody's darkness for a moment before you get hit with, oh my gosh. The scene that got me is when David Harbour saves that little girl. Red Guardian saves the girl, and then boom. And I love the design for the Void. And
sound design was good for that.
Yeah. I don't know the character. I know a little bit more now. I've looked up a little bit since. I didn't go in wanting to know. I had seen those shots in the trailers. I truly thought going into the movie that if that hit you, you're dead. Game over. And then when Yelena walked into it, I'm like, oh, okay, so she's not dead. But the other characters think she's dead, and then they have to have a debate. Well, she walked right into it. It can't just be that she's got to know something we don't, is pretty much, I think, what they say. Like, she has to know something that we don't know. We have to go after her. Right. And I loved that. And maybe everybody else in the world smarter than me, but like, I don't know. I loved the aesthetic. I thought the aesthetic was awesome. I thought that shot was awesome. Yeah. Great. Anyway, my ramble thoughts are coming to a halt here. So Kyle, take it over so I can get back into the groove.
Oh, I mean, no, more. I just think thematically the story works well. I guess one of my other complaints is that I wish Ghost was involved a little bit better. Like, she did very well. I thought she was actually given a lot more to do and a lot more in a better sense compared to, like, Ant-Man, what was it? Ant-Man 3? 2 that she was in?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't feel like I got much more out of that character as, like, in a group setting. I felt like it did lean... what were you going to say?
I think you're just, like, out of everybody, I don't think they showed any of her pain, right? Yeah. We saw a lot of John Walker. We saw a lot of we saw everybody we know, Bucky's, and he even makes like a joke of it. He's like, I've got plenty of pain. I've succumbed to my pain or whatever he says to Yelena. Like and that was to the audience of, you don't need to see mine. You've already seen me in 15.
Yeah, which was fine.
But I think I get where you're coming with, where Ghost kind of does get, but I think in this type of ensemble, somebody has to.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And I guess you could make like the Ant-Man 2 argument of like, we've already seen her, but that was also like 7 years ago. You know, like I won't mind seeing a little bit more of that character so that way I can be able to enjoy that character more.
Yeah, I thought she was fine. I mean, I came away just so happy that Yelena was the front and center. I think these two are going to be the ones to move on. Everybody's complaining about how this movie is just spoiling, that the chair event spoiled this movie. This movie is now spoiled. Let's get into the post-credit scene. That this movie is now spoiling Fantastic Four. And I can't even believe that this is the argument I've heard. I've heard it a bunch in the last day or so.
I don't understand what that means. The end credit scenes are to set up next things usually. So why is that?
The complaint I've seen a bunch. So the chairs spoiled Thunderbolts because now we know that everyone's going to live. First off, why are you going
the chair for the marketing? Okay, got it.
That's first. Then we'll go to Fantastic Four. So that's the first thing that everybody complained about. But I don't know why you're going into Thunderbolts assuming everyone will die. Is it because you went into Suicide Squad 2 assuming that because they told us not everyone will live?
I have noticed that with a lot of Marvel movies that audiences are always thinking, well, someone has to die. Like Guardians 3 had that. I feel like Black Panther 2 at one point had that as well. It's like, why are you guys hoping these characters die? Like if they do, fine, but like
you didn't go into the Winter Soldier going, oh man, Cap's probably done.
Well, yeah. Sam Wilson, I don't know.
Got 9. The argument for years has always been like, is somebody going to die? And it's like, no, he signed a 9-picture deal. He's on movie 2. They're not getting rid of him. Like, that makes so much sense.
Ant-Man 3 had that. Like, I remember the Quantum Mania, people were like, I don't know if Paul Rudd's going to make it out of this movie. I'm like, what are you talking about? Show me where you think that's happening.
It is totally a new wave fan stupid thing. It just 100% is. Yeah. Because it just like I'm down for Taskmaster. I'm pretty sure is digitally added into shots in the trailer. Like I'm pretty sure Taskmaster is in some shots that they have later in the movie. Taskmaster getting killed. I was shocked about.
And granted, like I didn't. Oh, you were shocked by it. Oh, okay.
I was surprised because I didn't know that going in. I didn't pay enough attention to all the chairs to see if everybody was making it. I knew Yelena. I heard a couple people saying like, "Oh, it sounds like the Thunderbolts are making it." I was like, "All right, whatever." But honestly, fans, it's your fault. It's all everybody wanting to know everything that Marvel feels that they need to do this before they've really truly started production on an Avengers movie that's coming out. Is it next year or 2 years from now? Next year? Yeah, May
it's
next year.
To come out. We'll see if it comes out next year, but yeah, it's supposed to be.
But well, I mean, they are filming some of it. The director of this movie said that he didn't direct the final shot in this movie in the post-credit scene, the second post-credit scene. I saw a quote where he said he didn't direct it, but he was on set when it was being directed.
What a weird feeling.
Why do I need to know that? It used to be kind of a fun little tidbit when you found that out later. Now it's like we have to know because fans are complaining about because you saw the movie late. You probably have been trying to avoid stuff. I
actually didn't get spoiled. I didn't get spoiled by anything. I guess I steered clear.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I thought it was I'm curious your thoughts. I thought it was really cool because going into the movie, I was curious. Why is there an asterisk on this title? And it's actually the new Avengers. See, I didn't have any idea, and I thought that was a really cool surprise.
I was thinking,
I love how they set it up. I love how Valentine set it up.
No, actually, it was a great trick by Valentina. Yeah. Like, you saw her, like, processing when they were saving people of, like, oh, I can spin this, but I didn't expect it to end, like, in that moment. I expected that to be, like, an after-credits thing.
Yeah, when they're walking up to her, you could you're like, why does the background look weird?
Yeah.
And it's she clearly told her boys, set this shit up. Mm-hmm. Press is on the way.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
I love that.
Shoot, what was I going to say?
So are you okay with them being the new Avengers? Maybe.
I mean, I for myself, I am assuming that won't last long, and they probably will be, like, a B team while we figure out, like, what the A team is in the upcoming Avengers movies.
Did you see Captain America Brave New World?
Did I? Yeah.
So, yeah, because that movie also ends with him saying, we need the Avengers back. So I think the bit of them being like, no, Sam wants to set up a new Avengers, I thought that was comic book. I thought it was comic booky. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, there's like 4 Avengers teams happening at once. Like,
people are complaining about it. People are complaining. After credit scene was way too long. Why are we making a joke? Why can't the Avengers all just be together? Go read a comic for once. Come on, I don't even read comics that often, and I know that's a comic book straight out of the panel.
I thought the team name would be Secret Avengers and not New Avengers. But again, it's not gonna. I don't think it'll last forever. It's fine.
I also let's get into it. So I thought, one, whoever Bucky's hairstylist is in that post-credit thing,
everyone's hair.
No!
All their hair was bad. Everyone's hair in that scene was terrible.
I can't tell. It looked
like I am being dead serious. Everyone's hair looked like it was being blown out or something. It looked crazy.
I know. I loved it.
Sarcastically?
No, I loved it.
Okay. We're on the same page, buddy. All right.
No, I didn't actually. I thought Bucky, I was like, Bucky looks awesome. Rough. Like, no. With the flying hair, I was like, Bucky, heck yeah. But then everybody else, I didn't like actively care about what their hair looked like. But that we just had a whole bit about how Valentine made Sentry dye his hair. You know that she is making them do that.
No, that's
probably a bit at the beginning of the next movie. It probably is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
This is where I've heard a lot of discourse, and it's been by a bunch of people. I've seen it multiple TikToks about it from tons of the podcasts and different critic or like pundits I like to follow, and I've seen just tons of tweets about this. I've also seen a bunch of love for the movie. Everybody's like, I love the movie. Although the amount of I love the movie, 2 stars, is a bit wild. But anyway. Stop. If you're anything lower than 3 and talking positively, you're just being a turd. You didn't like it and you don't want to be against the grain.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes thing of like, I don't know. You when you put your review on, you have to say like tomato or splat or whatever it is, but like you're in the middle of like, not everything I liked, but I liked it enough. So you give it that it's that type of mindset, you know.
I think Rotten Tomatoes, you just score it. You just give it a score out of 5, but you're allowed decimal points. And if it's, I think, a 2.5 or higher, they call it a fresh tomato. And then if it's anything lower, but they're allowed decimals. Anyway, I guess on Letterbox you are as well. The girl in front of me, as soon as the movie ended, that Letterbox got whipped out quick.
Oh, all right.
That rating came out. Letterbox is growing, baby.
Yeah, good for them.
As soon as they were talking about a ship, well, I didn't have any guesses then, but as soon as I saw the ship, I mean, we just saw the trailer. Why we don't even need to put the 4 on it. You should all be paying attention. I immediately, before they showed the 4, said to Autumn, "Oh, that's Fantastic Four ship."
I like the 4. Yeah.
No, I do too, but I'm just saying.
I know.
Kyle knew it. Kyle knew it. And so
I had my own little theories. But so the 4 was a little bit of a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Well,
for myself.
This is also old Marvel. The teaser's setting up the next movie instead of something 500 years away or a gag.
Yeah. It didn't. A lot of the past after credit scenes lately have made me like feel tired or made me roll my eyes. Like they just feel cheap and unearned, and they haven't been earned. The only good one was really Black Panther 2, and even still, that could have been the end of the movie instead of be a post-credit scene.
I don't even remember which one that was.
Shuri gets introduced to Black Panther's son.
Oh,
that was like one of the.
That is a great one. I'm okay when they do that. Back in the day, there used to be gag ones. There used to be ones that just mattered to the character in that movie because they didn't have anything quite yet. They were like, we're not going to set anything up quite yet. And this is realistically not setting up Fantastic Four. It's setting up the Avengers, most likely. But
it does two things. It reminds people that a Fantastic Four movie is coming, but also it's setting up for things beyond that too. It's actually it's a very good idea for a post-credit scene.
And the big thing I keep seeing people complain about is, well, now I know that because in the trailers and that sneak peek for Fantastic Four, it's your universe has been marked for death. So everybody's like, oh, the movie's been spoiled. Now I know Fantastic Four ends with the universe dying and them coming here. And my argument is, why did it have to die? Why can't they be coming here for help? Why? Maybe it's Doom. Maybe Dr. Doom took a pod and said, I'm not going to die in this universe that the Fantastic Four are fighting in. Let me go destroy this universe. Like what why are we just assuming that it's that? That's an assumption, not a theory, and I want to play into theories. I think they're coming for help. I think they fail and their universe is going to die. I don't think it does die. I think it's either that they fail and it's about to die and they need help, or they know they can save it by merging them. Now that's a theory right there. Let's smash them together.
I think you're onto something there. My assumption for Fantastic Four was that it was going to end with that world being gone.
And it might be. But I don't like that everybody's going, oh, that post-credit scene ruined. Yeah,
that means we know everything.
That's an assumption about the movie. It's not a theory, and that's not fun. Let's theorize. Let's go back and forth. Anyway, continue.
No, that is my theory for Fantastic Four. I feel like they are gonna both be heroic, but in over their heads. I just feel like with the trailers that I've seen of Fantastic Four, they aren't like heroes yet. They are just icons. They are just mouthpieces.
They're scientists who now have
scientists. They're now celebrities and mouthpieces just to talk about the space race and what happened to them, at least on their world.
It's definitely a hero's journey. We have to accept that this is our new role and we have to be saviors. Like I 100% think that is what Fantastic Four will be about.
If whether it's your theory or my theory, they're going to go from 0 to 100 real fast because that is a hefty challenge.
Yeah, I don't see Disney bringing in new characters coming in with this immense loss that our entire universe was just destroyed. I don't see that happening. I don't know.
Infinity War, they did something similar. I don't know.
But Infinity War, I'm saying because this is the Fantastic Four, because this is new characters into the MCU, old school Marvel comics being brought over finally to the MCU. By the time you get to Infinity War, that's earned. It's earned for us to have heavy losses and for all that stuff. But if you're like, you're telling me you do all these things, you're going to bring Galactus finally in, and you're just going to say, no, we're not going to utilize any of this. Like, is Dr. Doom going to be on that ship with them then? How is he going to get over? Because if the assumption is he's from that universe. So are they all 5 going to come over together and they're going to be like, hey, here's your new big bad. We lost. We need help beating him. No. I think they are going to escape because they need help. I think they're going to say that they need help and that they're losing pretty bad. And they don't know what to do. And Reed's going to be like, I don't know. Yeah. Mate, what if it ends with, what if it ends?
What do you got?
We go a little Kal-El here. I know you know. I mean, I know you're impressed that I didn't say Superman. What if we go a little Kal-El? We have this whole thing about how she's pregnant. What if they're losing and they put the kids on the ship, and then they Kal-El him and they send him to a different universe, and then our Avengers go, what is happening here? We need to go help.
That's a good theory. That's an original theory.
No, Kyle, it's an assumption.
Well, we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled by the movie. We know exactly who's in that ship.
I think that would hit.
It depends on me? I do wonder about, like, it doesn't seem like they have kids yet. So at least one of their two kids are coming. So, like, if one is born, do they throw?
Aren't they twins?
Put the baby in the ship. Oh yeah, they are. I think they are. They could make them twins, I guess.
Yeah. Could you imagine they Padme this? They're just like, we got to get these babies out of here. Get them on another planet. And then, Invisible Woman's like, I've lost the will to live. I just don't want to be here anymore because George didn't know how to kill me. Let's say I die in childbirth. I have to lose the will to live.
Fantastic Four.
Dude.
I don't think that's likely. I don't think they will go there, but I think it's original, and I kind of...
Thank you. You love it.
I kind of like it.
I'm going to tell you right now.
It's something different. It's different.
That hits way harder than the four of them showing up going, we've lost. Our entire universe was just destroyed, and they're coming for you next. I think that hits harder. That's a big
bummer. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. That would be wild.
But again, I don't know if Disney would do that. I don't know if they would go there.
Well, in Infinity War, Kyle, they did. They got a little dark.
Yeah, but it was different. It's a culmination of things.
You spin my hair right. That's what we're doing right now. Around the world.
I like that after credit scene.
I loved the after credit scene. It was old school Marvel. It got me. The needle for me has been moved, not as much as you for Fantastic Four, but like this made me really excited. Because even if the movie doesn't address it, it's old Marvel here. Now my thought is the after credit scene for Fantastic Four going to give us a little more? What's it going to give us? And this, if everybody's like, if the complaint is, well, this wasn't part of Thunderbolts, welcome to the Winter Soldier. Remember when they teased after like Ant-Man or something, and Bucky had and then they walked in, they had a whole conversation. He walks in and they're talking. Like, that was a great after credit scene from a different movie that worked.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Marvel's back. And Fantastic Four better not suck.
I hope it's good, man. I hope Fantastic Four is good. I'm still not completely sold on the casting itself, but everything else, like production-wise, cinematography-wise, I think it looks pretty good. It looks different.
Looks awesome.
I mean, some story beats may look like Rise of the Silver Surfer, kind of, but it'll be a little.
I told Autumn, even though they are not connected at all, we should rewatch the first two before we see Fantastic Four. When does it come? Is it July 4th? When does it come out in July?
Middle of July.
Well, when you come visit, it'll probably still be here. Maybe we got to swing on over for a second run at a big old IMAX, pal.
I do it. Of course I do it.
Yeah, I know.
I want to go. I'd go watch any movie with you, man.
Oh, heck yeah. Find the biggest IMAX known to man.
Please. Please.
Well, we probably should wrap it up there. We got a few minutes till we got stuff to do anyway. And I think we can make this whole thing just Thunderbolts review. This is part of the pod.
Can I mention one thing real quick? I just want to give major props to the movie Sinners for that crazy 6% drop that they had from weekend 1 to weekend 2. Like, that's unheard of. That's monumental. I'm really glad people are liking the movie because I wasn't sure if it would, if it would be universally loved, which is a bit of a dramatic statement to say that, universally loved, but even still, it seems like people really like it. People either went back or the word of mouth is so strong. Like, most I've seen in a while since, like, Barbenheimer, it feels like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, I just like seeing that for that movie. Seems like it's doing very well. I just wanted to mention that since we, talk about movie stuff outside of Thunderbolts. Though Thunderbolts, good time too. Go check it out.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're both very good. Guys, what did you think of everything we talked about for a big old spoiler review, number 70 on the old list? Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.